Okay, I just made a video about this paludarium, but I realized it was kind of vague, so I wanted to make another one and go into a little more detail. This is a 29-gallon aquarium. I converted it to a paludarium when the front face shattered, so right before I put on the new front face, I just added this diagonal glass piece to make the little pond area. There's a 2-inch false bottom created by PVC with little channels cut out in them, and then egg crate and window screen mesh. There's a sub pump down in here, and it pumps water from this false bottom area into the aquatic portion where it gets the plants give some biological filtration, and it is aerated and additionally filtered by the sponge filter. Then it overflows and flows back down where it's further filtered, aerated by the plants, the gravel, etc. And then it falls back down into this false bottom sump area. The substrate is mostly charcoal, and then there's turfus and perlite in there as well. A little sand here and there, mainly for aesthetics, but the substrate itself is really, really free draining, really chunky. All the plants are either aquatic, like this is a S. repens tissue culture I got from Petco. I just kind of broke it up into smaller plants and stuck it throughout. So it was $10 for the tissue culture, but I think it was worth it because it looks pretty good. It covered the whole bottom pretty nicely. These are some pitcher plants I got at a local nursery. They looked dead. The Perpea, these ones back here, and these ones, they looked pretty good. You could see all those green pitchers are what they've grown since I got them. They looked pretty raggly before. And then these ones, I'm not sure what they are, but they were, look, every single pitcher was dead. I cut them all off and just hope for the best. And you can see they've put on some new pitchers, so I'm pretty happy. This looks like it's starting to get its coloration there. You can't promise it's not dead, it's the coloration. But the bromeliads, the two that are actually in the substrate or look to be on the ground, are kind of strategically placed so that they are still elevated and their stem and roots are peeking up above the substrate. I guess I should say the three. This one's also the one back here. The big one is mounted on this charcoal log thing. They're loving it. You could see they're all growing a lot of roots, really taking off. The frogs are a Pipethabates tricolor morse spungo. This is a group of 4 males. I haven't found anyone that has a female. I haven't found anyone selling this locale, period. So if I ever do get a female, that'd be cool. But I mean, I appreciate them for what they are. The four pack here, the boys. In addition to that, there is a ogre face spider. I don't know if I'll be able to find her, but there's an ogre face spider in here I collected fairly recently. So she sleeps during the day and catches flies at night. There is 2 ant colonies. Well, kind of 4 ant colonies. There's 3 colonies that I don't expect to last long. 2 Phytole navigans colonies and a Siphomermex ramosus colony. I dump ant colonies in here all the time just because the frogs eat them. But then the one that I do think will last is this Pseudomyrmex gracilis colony. They are a large South American ant. They are a solitary hunter that hunts small prey, and so they're too big for the frogs to consider food, and they don't consider the frogs food. So the two just ignore each other, so that's really cool. It's neat to have them in here. The temperature, the water, it's about 3 gallons of water is in here. I use distilled water to make sure the pitcher plants don't die, and then I've changed all of the water out of this pretty regularly to keep the water free of, I don't want it to have a lot of nutrients or minerals or anything because that will kill the pitcher plants, and there's plenty of flies in here for them to get by. And then obviously the bromeliads, I can fertilize them. They pretty much are the same as the pitcher plants. Flies die in the cups, that fertilizes the bromeliads. So I keep the water really clean to prevent anything dying. The water also acts as kind of like a stabilizer. It keeps the temperatures more stable. And then I have a little PC fan that exhausts the hot air. This was hooked up to a thermometer switch, but I have co-opted that for another project, so I have to get another thermometer switch. So now it's just kind of running when I feel like it's too warm in there. The lights are 3 LED strip lights from Walmart. They're $10 each or something like that. So it's pretty cool. I mean, you can tell the growth is amazing in here. These bromeliads were green. They're all cherry red. Um, so yeah, man, Home Depot lights. Oh, you could see here, as soon as I made this thing, like when I was putting it in here, I cracked the top. And I was too lazy to make a new top after I just made this whole thing, so I just siliconed it, or epoxied it. So I'll fix it one day, I'm sure, but for now I just don't think about it. So yeah, that's I guess, a more detailed explanation of how this thing runs, how the organisms are all happy. Obviously, the only feeder that goes in here is fruit flies, and then I sprinkle sugar in there for the ants too. But the pitcher plants, the bromeliads, the frogs, and the ants all are sustained by me adding fruit flies in there every few days. So it's really cool, really kind of kind of low maintenance. It would run perfectly fine with no maintenance, but I'm in here fiddling around pretty regularly. Oh yeah, there's also a Rosy wolf snail. She keeps the free of snails in here so well that I actually have to put snails in here for her to eat. So if you have a snail problem in any of your vivariums or aquariums, get a Rosy wolf snail. They will clear them right out. So yeah, that's how this works. It's really quite a nice centerpiece. We have this in our like living room hallway area, so it's really nice. The frog calls are really pretty. It's great to see them hopping around, splashing around all the time. So if you want to make one of these yourself, you don't necessarily need hundreds of dollars in equipment or hundreds of dollars in plants. Every single bromeliad that you see in here was grown by me from one bromeliad that I bought at Home Depot like a year ago. That's actually outside in a tree right now. I stuck it in a tree. But all of these were pups from that one bromeliad. The pitcher plants I got for $5 each because they look dead. The moss I got for free. I got a $10 tissue culture of S. repens. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of money to make something that looks pretty good, I think. So just keep that in mind, and I say go for it, take your time, and you'll end up with something that looks pretty nice.